In the 1970s, the Allen family moved into a rented 3-bedroom house in Topeka, Kansas. Like many families in that era, they faced economic hardships and job uncertainties. Ray, the father, was a hard-working steelworker, and June, the mother, worked part-time for the state. Together, they did all they could to support their 4 children, their eldest daughter, Lynn, then son, Jeff, followed by another daughter, Renee, and finally the youngest son, Kevin. The house was 2 stories, but the upper floor was unfinished, with just plywood covering the floor joists, so it was mostly used as storage. Still, the Allens set up a ping pong table up there, turning the rough attic space into a place for fun family games, if you could handle the drafty conditions. In the main living quarters, the children shared bedrooms. The 2 daughters occupied one room, while the 2 sons shared another. Occasionally, they switched rooms for variety. One of the bedrooms had a narrow, unusually long closet where pipes for the bathroom were exposed, giving the space a strange, almost eerie feel. Now, just how strange was the closet? When Jeff and Kevin stayed in that room, Jeff would notice shapes seeming to emerge from the closet and drift outside. These shapes varied in colors, sometimes red, sometimes blue, or even white, but always looked the same, a group of 4 vaguely resembling a family. When describing them, Jeff could only think of the Quaker Oats logo. The tallest figure looked like it wore a similar hat. Fascinated rather than afraid, he and Kevin would watch these shapes, finding it both strange and oddly exciting. Oddly, the other bedroom didn't seem to have this phenomenon. When Jeff tried to explain this to his mother, June, she dismissed it as car lights casting shadows through the window. But the house was on a one-way street with headlights pointing the other way from the bedroom. And the cross street had a large house blocking any potential light source about 25 feet from the window. Jeff couldn't help but wonder how car lights could possibly make such distinct shapes. There were other oddities too. In the attic, someone had drawn a phone on the rafters with the word phone scrawled above it. And June and Ray would occasionally hear what sounded like a phone ringing from the attic, adding to the home's unsettling charm. As Jeff and Lynn entered high school, the family eventually decided to move closer to the school where the kids could walk instead of relying on the city bus. They left the peculiar house behind, though Jeff never forgot the unusual things he had seen there. Decades later, Jeff found himself reminiscing with his sisters Lynn and Renee at Lynn's house. He overheard Lynn ask Renee if she remembered seeing shapes coming out of the closet in their old house. Renee laughed, recalling that neither of them had been scared, instead they found it amusing. Jeff was stunned. He had once tried to talk about it with his younger brother Kevin, but Kevin, who was very young at the time, didn't remember. Now hearing his sister's shared memory of the same phenomenon, he was taken aback. He told them that he and Kevin had seen the same thing, and they had just been fascinated by it. Whenever Jeff returned to Topeka and drove by that old house, he noticed that it almost always had a for sale sign in the yard. He couldn't help but wonder, was there truly something strange about that house? Or was it all just a series of eerie coincidences? Now, years later, when the internet made information more accessible, Jeff searched for connections between Kansas and the Quakers. He learned that in the 1850s, some Quakers moved to what was known at that time as the Bleeding Kansas. Known as pacifists, these Quakers had migrated from pro-slavery Missouri to the still neutral Kansas, hoping to influence it to become a free state, which it ultimately did. This history added a new layer to the mystery of his memories. Now, this story is true and it's my own experience. The names were changed except mine to protect my family's privacy. Thanks for listening, have a happy Halloween, and see you next time.